I don't know. He said rest in peace my poles. I'm not sure if he's coming out, but he should hopefully.
Just waiting on this to go live.
Oh.
We should be ready.
Oh.
We should be correct. We are ready. You can hear my lovely voice in the background, and welcome to round 13 of Gprl season 4. It's a bloody marvellous day in England, and it's just as nice in China where we are right now. And Ryan, I'm joined with. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Yeah, the weather's pretty good here as well, so
Yes.
it must just be a very good-looking Friday. I don't know why, of all days, it has to be today.
Yeah, I'm sat in a conservatory, absolutely sweating. I'm sweating out my skin, and if I drop dead in the middle of the broadcast, then you know what's happened. Anyway, to fill you in on this qualifying session so far, Amar has just gone quickest on the ultra soft tyres, and then it's Esteban up in P2 returning from his race ban on the soft tyres. Then it's Harrison up in P3, the only driver. Actually, I need to check what their best lap. Yeah, Harrison and Emma are the only drivers to set laps on the ultra soft tyres. Then it's Yannick up in P4, the highest runner of the mediums, and everyone down from Yannick has set their fastest lap so far on the medium tyres. Then it's Felix, Jano, Kevin, Moraine down in P8, and then you guys rounding out the back of the grid. We believe we'll have Karen joining us for the race. And Moraine can actually snatch the title today. I will just get up the stats. So if I think I messaged them to you, Ryan, but if
Yeah, wasn't it like 10 or 11 points today, or no? The gap got bigger because Felix won and Marine was second.
yes, I was
So-
messaging Moraine. Yeah, so Felix, Moraine needs to outscore Felix by 15 points today, and that is including fastest lap. So if he outscores him by 14 points, Felix will have to win every race, or the next two races, and get a fast lap in both the two races. And Moraine not score any points to win the championship. In which I think that would put them on a tied amount of points. So I'm not entirely sure how it would work out, but we'll tackle that hurdle when we get to it. And Amar on his lap. It'll be quite an impressive pole for Amar if he can make it to pole.
I think
Esteban,
even on the
go
first or second row would be a good result for me, Amar.
Yeah, so Ryan, with about a minute and a half left of this qualifying session, give us a rundown of this quali session so far.
Well, to be honest, it's almost like a pattern now with the qualifying sessions. Everyone goes out on either, well, most of the time it's always the hardest compound just to set a banker lap, and then they go out for maybe one or two runs on softer compounds. So it's been it's almost been like a scheduled qualifying session where everyone's like doing the same sort of tactics. But yeah, so far obviously Amar on pole, but that's yet to stay because we've got, well, 3-4 drivers maybe potentially going for pole, the Saubers and the 2 Red Bulls, so it would be very impressive if he managed to stay up on pole.
Yeah, it will be quite an achievement for the Renault driver, the first pole for a long time for Renault. As he rounds the final corner, can he improve on his lap time? It was a 130.6, it stays a 130.6, so Amar not going to do any better on that 130.6. Esteban's not going to be able to challenge him, as he's only just coming out of the pits now, so anyone not on a lap will not be able to set their time. As now we look further back to Harrison, don't believe there's anyone further forward. Jano off on the final corner, so 6 is the best he's going to do for today. Kevin rounds the final corner. It's P4 at best for Kevin up in the soft, so that's quite an achievement if things stay as they are. Now we look to Moraine. who's blasting down the back straight in his almost famous now green and black helmet. He can clinch the title of today, but if he qualifies only 8th, he'll have quite a mountain to climb through the hairpin. It looked like a bit of a shaky exit. Harrison P2, yes, thank you for that, Ryan. And Moraine follows through the final corner. DRS activated up to the line. It's P3 and P3 only for Moraine, but that's the highest of the soft tyre runners so far. The rest of the challengers are coming through. You guys onto the back straight. Felix now, his teammate, rocking a Shanghai special helmet. Very nice touch from Felix there to bring in that helmet for today, but he rounds the final corner. Helmets aren't going to do him anything, but can he do it in lap time? Up to the line is P4 and just about half a tenth off his teammate Yannick. Now the only other challenger for pole position. He's been fast lately. A bit of a revival in terms of pace. Can he do it for Sauber? His teammate only P8. Yannick goes P3. Can't quite get the job done. And now we look back to you guys on those softest tyres, the ultra softs. Can he do anything about it? P3 for you guys. P3. Good achievement there from you guys. But yeah, that was quite a mad dash at the end. Everyone improving. But at the end of it is pole. For who got pole?
Amar.
Did Amar get a pole? That's
yeah.
Okay. Right. Wow. I need to get with it. Incredible. That.
You guys did get a 5-place grid penalty, so it's a bit of a shame for him.
That is a shame. So you guys will start P8.
The Yannick's P3.
But yeah, I think standout performance of the session will be Amar, up in P1, grabbing Renault's first pole position in a while.
I think Amar and Harrison both achieving their first or their best qualifying results today.
Definitely. A disappointing session from Yano not being able to. I think he went off through the last corner on his fast lap. So he's going to have quite an improvement to make during the race. But yeah, it was a very fun qualifying session, and yeah, obviously great achievement there from Amar to go P1. Also, like great achievement raining. From Harrison.
It could rain.
It is looking very dark, and maybe for the first time.
Now that I think about it, what I am going to predict right now is that the rain is going to happen about halfway through the race, and the reason everyone's qualified on soft compounds is so they can stretch the tyres to the rain period, so they don't have to make an extra pit stop. Because there was a lot of people on the soft tyres, which was interesting, because you wouldn't normally see that many people on the middle compound. So it could just be a strategy call here.
Okay, I understand what you mean. Got a formation lap going now. Karim has joined the back of the grid. He is in the Mercedes. Points will be counted towards the McLaren team. Let's just get this this detail up. Yeah, so the tyre. So Karim on the softs, along with Kevin, Esteban, Felix, Moraine, and Yannick. Then the ultra soft runners, we have Amar, Harrison, and you guys, and Yana, the only person on the mediums. I haven't heard anything from. Sorry, dude. Pardon me. I haven't heard anything from the drivers. I haven't heard anything from the drivers in terms of weather. So I'm not sure. Moraine's saying, oh well, Harrison's saying that he's had no practice, so even better achievement to stick up in P2. I think Karim has got a bit of a race on his hands. It should be quite interesting to see what he can do. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Amar and Harrison can do. I think that could be quite interesting, Ryan.
Yeah. One thing, I think you could say that we've seen it before, but do you think Amar and Harrison might be a little bit shaky off the line because they're so high up? They might be under a little bit of pressure. Do you think that?
Yeah, possible.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that they might come under a little bit of pressure just because none of these guys have been on the front row before, so it'll be very interesting to see how they get off the line. And I think, well, it was Amar that come into contact with Yannick, wasn't it? So I think even if Amar won the race, there's still a chance that he might lose it due to a penalty after the race, because
Yeah, there is
the
that.
contact was it was almost blatant.
Anyway, we'll focus on the race. It's a Renault on pole for the first time, maybe in the history of Gprl. Maybe not. I don't have the stat up with me.
I'm not sure if Steve got pole and
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But Shanghai making its debut on the Gprl calendar. It's 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go. Moraine has got a jump start from I believe it was P4 on the grid, so that's him gonna have a drive-through penalty. He's up to P1, but he's gonna have to serve that drive-through penalty within a couple of laps. So Amar inheriting the net race lead, where further back Yannick is around the outside of Felix, I believe that is, through turn 2. Felix looking to hold it around the outside. He's got good traction. I'm not sure. We'll see if he can make that work. Further back, looks like everyone keeping it relatively clean. Karen's made a place up into P9, down the inside goes. Yes, so Amar back up into the lead. Moraine really struggling today. As we go up the hill, Amar into the lead. Felix, I believe he's side by side with the Sauber of Yannick. These two, they've come into contact before. They're still side by side. This has been an incredible move from Yannick, if he can hold it. And down the inside, there's contact, but I don't think any damage has been sustained. As yeah, that's Felix going off track, not being able to make a move, and Harrison's been hit. He's off into the wall. I don't think there's any damage there, thankfully. He's just gone through the polystyrene boards. Esteban is off, and dare I say that it would have been Esteban in the Toro Rosso making more contact. We'll have to review that footage after, but looking a bit further forward, it's
Harrison really struggling now.
Yeah, Harrison off. Red. I'm not sure if there's damage to that front wing element, but yeah, it's Amar from Moraine, Moraine still having a penalty, drive-through penalty to serve. So it's as we round the final corner, looks like Karim is off. He's gone straight on at the hairpin. So through the final corner, it's Amar followed by Moraine, Yannick, Felix followed by Esteban Ugaitz, and it's Kevin in the Williams keeping the Toro Rossos on it. Then it's Jano, Harrison and Karim at the back of the field. Quite a hectic start there. And looking further back, we've got Yannick and Felix battling again. These two can't quite shake each other off. Yannick holding the position. Has been an impressive run so far for Yannick, up in an effective P2 after Moraine takes his penalty. The Toro Rossos are getting relatively close. Yeah, Ryan, quite a hectic start. Just run us through the start then.
Yeah, it was a shocking start from Harrison, because he was down like P5 or P6 before turn 1. So I'm not sure. I think Marine's jump start might have.
Amar's off. Amar's off.
Amar's off.
Race leader off to the back. He's got damage, and I'm not sure if there was contact there with Moraine. They looked close, and I'm not going to suggest that there was contact, but that's going to put Moraine up into the lead of the race. Kevin has got a 5-second stop and go penalty. Looks like the Toro Rosso and Williams have come together, so quite a couple of cars off. But
and then Amar going massively wide, yeah. So it looks like it's probably one of the first times in Gprl history where the front row has had, well, I don't want to say the worst start, but it's been a pretty. It was a very shaky start for the front row, and I was saying that Marine's in the pits.
Moraine into the pits, yeah, so that's going to promote Yannick up into the lead. Felix right on his tail. Felix, he's got a gap to close today.
Yellow flags.
Kevin out the session.
Kevin's out going into the pits. And
Does he hit the wall?
Amar or Ugaitz might have come into I think they were maybe side by side going into the pits, and Ugaitz shoved him just a little bit wide and he clipped the wall. Okay.
So looking back to the front, it's the soft tyres for the top 3, then Jano up in P4. Jano keeping it clean at the start, that's rewarded him with P4. Esteban keeping the top 2 honest actually, as Felix chases down Yannick. Neither am I think
you guys had a stop go.
Possibly, but he came into contact with Kevin just about this time last lap in terms of the leaders. Felix is looking very fast at the moment, and he's going to have DRS this lap to use, which will grant him a bit of extra speed down the back straight, and he'll be able to, you'd think, take the position.
Yeah, you got
Obviously
a
it's,
decent run through the right-hander, so I think you should make the overtake going into the hairpin. But Yannick's hugging the inside wall
he
pretty
is proper
well
hugging
there,
it.
so
They're going to be side by side into the braking zone. Round the outside tries Felix. There's not going to be too much room out there. Yannick being actually quite nice to Felix to give him the room. Felix not quite being able to take that room, and Yannick holds on to position. Fair defending there, you'd say?
yeah, it was very fair. You could see that Yannick gave him, well, like you said, it's almost he gave him too much room there. It was almost like Vettel and Verstappen at the real life Chinese Grand Prix, except well,
Yeah.
there was no dive bomb to start it off, and obviously Yannick is a more generous driver than Vettel is, so fair enough.
Well, evidently. You've just offended a lot of people there, Ryan. But
Well,
go on.
I do have opinions about Vettel, which I won't say in case I
Let's
do
move
get
swiftly
massive
on.
backlash.
Yeah. So looking at the front, it's there's quite a train forming behind Yannick, and these two battling has actually backed them up right into Esteban. He's at the fast lap of the Grand Prix last time round, and he's looking relatively punchy. And you know, maybe we might have a three-wide moment down the main straight, or the back straight, I should say. Yes, half a
Very
look.
slow through the left-hander.
Yeah. Moraine has made his way up to P6 after serving that stop and go penalty. To be honest, he's not too far. Not stop and go, drive through penalty. My apologies, but it's Felix again on the back of Yannick. Felix, he didn't have the best run ever through the final corner, but he's got DRS activated. Yannick shoving Felix around the outside, and Felix gets the switchback. Great move there from Felix, and they're not even going to be side by side. Felix up into P1. Very good job there from Felix, and he's up into P2. Esteban.
Yannick might make a move here.
Yeah, he might. That'd be quite incredible. He might do a switchback and try and get to the apex first. That's what he's done. He's just about got enough of a front wing in there. But yeah, Felix holds it around the outside Moraine, so that's the fast lap of the Grand Prix. So that's an extra point going his way if things stay as they are. But yeah, good move there from Felix. Good defending also, you'd say.
Yeah, it was very fair. I mean, coming into the braking zone, it looked like Yannick was a little bit too aggressive, but he played it fairly, so you can't really knock him for that.
Yeah, Felix getting through, and Yannick did have a little look back up the inside, but nevertheless, it's the Red Bull that leads the race, followed by Yannick, who seems to be struggling, and is actually dropping back into the clutches of Esteban. Oh, Jarno's off.
Says Jarno. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. I think it could just be down to him using the mediums.
Possibly. My guess is also he's clipped the inside curb, and that sent him round. So that's that's probably gonna give Moraine a free position. As we have Esteban not really closing in, but Yannick definitely falling back from Felix. So Felix looking very comfortable. Had quite the turn of form recently, hasn't he, Ryan?
He has, yeah. I mean, it's good to see him back up where he is now, because obviously we all want him to be up there with the rest of them. So yeah, he's driven well so far.
He has driven well.
He keeps his position.
Yeah, and let's hope we haven't just hit a commentator's curse on him. And what I'm going to do now, real quick, is I'm going to calculate the 75%, because we've forgotten to do this as Moraine sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix again, and Esteban's looking quite punchy.
21 laps.
It is
21. At the end of lap 21, that'll be the
point cut off. Yep. And Yannick, not Yannick. Esteban's looking quite punchy. Ryan, what do you say about
that? I'm not sure. I think Yannick's a little bit more confident in the corners. I think Esteban is probably relying quite a bit on the slipstream and DRS on the straight. But if he stays this distance away, he should be able to make a move. As it's on that corner there, I think Esteban. I think it's just his racing line slightly off, and obviously you need like the perfect racing line to go around that corner. So maybe Esteban could try and make a move, or no, he's too far back.
Yeah, not quite there for Esteban, but he's certainly looking punchy, and yeah, maybe a first podium in his Gprl career if he keeps this pace up. But looking a bit further back, Karim has picked his way up into P4. Not bad start for Karim. It looked like there was a bit of contact there. Did you see anything of that, Ryan?
Yeah, you guys tried to go up the inside, but he instantly backed out of it. There was no contact.
You guys
saw flags as
Amar out of the session.
I'm just looking on you guys' point of view to see where he's crashed out. He's went past, so maybe he's crashed on the straight somewhere somehow.
I can't see. I'm gonna be honest, I can't see. But yeah, it's Amar. The pole sitters race over, which is a shame. But yeah, Esteban, a little bit of a slide there. Sign says, oh, he's gone off out of turn 7, 8, I want to say, I'm not quite sure, but that's going to extend the gap, give Yannick a bit of breathing room. And chat, we want to know who's your pick for the win today. You'll be reading them out on live stream. So let us know what you think about that. We've got a request from Papa Aruga 995 to put the driver telemetry on for the ERS. There you go, mate. We got it turned on, so we can see the ERS levels. The ERS obviously all new to this, or last year's game, I should say. And it was something new for the drivers to manage, and I think Moraine got on top of that very quickly and started managing it incredibly. And we saw what happened. I think Moraine, maybe not today, but I think he's definitely about to claim the driver's standing, the championship for this year. And I'm actually going to work out the points margin, because I don't know if I trust my judgment. So Ryan, just talk us through the race whilst I'm working this one out.
Well, it's been very hectic so far, of course. Harrison, who's in P6, and Amar, who's in P9, they were both on the front row. And when we got to about turn 1 or turn 2, they'd both already fallen off of the front row of the grid, so they struggled a lot. I think it could just be down to it's the first time they're on the front row, so they might be a little bit nervous to be on the front row, especially with the drivers that we have in the league. There's a lot of quick drivers, so obviously the qualifying position means a lot in this league.
Yeah.
So,
Kevin out the session. Yes, okay. Okay, yeah, good point there. Ryan, forgot your name for a moment there. Obviously, quite a bit of pressure on the drivers. I've just calculated currently. Moraine and Felix have a gap between them of 49 points in the drivers' standings. After this race, there will be 62 points up for grabs. So, due to the double points finale, of course. So it's looking good for Felix to close that gap, and dare I say, have a little go at the title at the end of. Do you think it's a bit far-fetched, or?
Definitely not. I think if Felix keeps up this momentum, it should be a close fight between the top two. I think whoever's in third, I think it might be like Steve or something like that. But I think they're slightly out the question at the moment in terms of fighting for the championship. So I think it could be a two-way fight at the final race, which obviously we all want that to happen. Yep. Like last season, I believe, it came down to the last race. So
yeah, it did. And
it would be good at a track like Singapore to see how well the drivers fare when it's a championship fight, and also because they're two teammates, there might not be any team orders going through them when it comes to the final race, because they might have to go, right, the championship's up for grabs here. We can either have a reigning champion or a new champion. So I think it'll be a tough call for the both of them as to what exactly they're going to do to
Ryan, I'm just watching Esteban. He's right in the back of Yannick now, and really hassling him. Yannick into the pits now, which sends Esteban slightly offline, so Yannick the first person to call it quits, and he'll go onto the medium tyres, you'd imagine, to the end of the race, should there be no rain to affect it. But yeah, Red Bull obviously stealing the Constructors' Championship last time, so you know there'll be no competition for them, so I don't see why they wouldn't let the drivers race. But talking about the drivers, currently 1 and 4 Moraine jump in the start, which dropped him down to P. It must have been P6 or P7 at the time, as he gets very sideways coming out of turn 3. And Moraine, he's been clawing back time ever since, and Karim is now up into P3. Let's have a look, you guys, with 3-second time penalties. So Yannick has come out in P5 on fresh tyres. Do you think I'll have a problem getting them to the end, Ryan?
No, I think this should be about the. Although looking at it, there'll be 19 laps to go, so I think they'll be pretty worn at the end of the race, but I think he might just be able to hold on.
Yeah. Seems all good at the moment, as we're nearing the halfway point. Felix still out in front, extend that gap, he's dominated. Today, he's really hit a sort of Marcos from, God, what was it, the Bahrain days. For the end of season awards, make sure, guys, if you're not following us already, on Instagram, Gprl underscore official, that's Gprl, all in capitals, underscore, and then official. You'll be able to follow us, and come the end of the season, we will be doing an end of season podcast awards, where we'll be giving awards out to drivers, hopefully getting a little word on the award, whether they're good, bad. Obviously, there's some awards that drivers would like to receive more than others. But yeah, Ryan, just give us a quick run through of the sort of awards that we might see brought in.
Well, I'm actually going to get the list up, which I believe you sent me a while ago.
Yes, I did. Via the current race leader, Felix, suggesting us a couple ideas, so thank you, Felix, if you're watching.
Okay, we've got, well, there's factual and performance. We'll start off with the factual. So we've got most race wins, most pole positions, most podiums, most consecutive podiums, and most positions gained in one race, which you already know the answer for that one.
Yes, I think that's set in stone.
And in terms of the performance, which is a good name because you weren't sure, we've got the best rookie / underestimated driver. We've got the best OG Gprl driver. So we'll just say across the whole of Gprl that are currently driving at the moment. The best driver overall, so I wouldn't necessarily say the champion.
Yeah.
It could be another driver on the grid, yeah. And the most consistent, which I'm pretty sure we already have the answer to that one as well.
Who would you say?
Because I got slaughtered in the podcast. The consistent driver, well, at the moment, Karim.
I would say Karim too.
Yeah, because I did get slaughtered for not mentioning his name.
Yes, you did. That podcast will be out very soon, don't you worry.
I knew in the back of my mind that he was definitely up there, but I don't know why I just didn't say it.
Yeah,
but I knew that it was definitely him.
Right, so yeah, make sure you follow us on Instagram to get those updates. Moraine coming out the pits now. P6 on those fresh tyres. He's behind Harrison, who's got another stop to make. He's behind Esteban, who doesn't have to stop again. He's behind Yannick, who has jumped Esteban by about 2 seconds. So good job by Yannick to get back ahead. Karim is going wide through the middle sector. And if he pits now, he should come out. I think it's going to be quite tight between himself and Moraine, actually. So if Karim can actually undercut Moraine, I believe these two were very close when Moraine pitted. If Karim can undercut Moraine, that should set him up for quite a good second stint, and maybe, if things go his way, a podium again in Gprl. Karim, obviously, this has definitely been the best season of his Gprl career, you'd say.
Yeah. I mean, from when we raced last season, when I was in, yeah, I could tell that there's been a huge improvement from last season and this season.
Yeah, and I think he's picked up 2 or 3 podiums so far this season. He picked up his first podium in round 5, Australia, and that was his first podium since season 2 in Canada, when I was his teammate. But talking about Karim, he comes in his Mercedes colours as a one-off for today, although his points will count towards the McLaren team. Karim on the medium tyre, and that's going to promote Harrison into P4. That's Esteban into P3.
It's going to be very close.
Yeah, it is going to be quite
very
close.
between Marine and
Side by
Karim.
side, it's not quite side by side. Marine having a little look up the inside, and he's sort of bumped Karim off the road. What do you think of that, Ryan? Did you think that that was harsh or not?
I mean, Moraine saw him coming out of the pits, so I think Moraine would have had to be a little bit more lenient with Karim, because trying to overtake at the first corner, it can be very tricky.
Is it worth telling him to give the position back?
It's a very small margin. He did push Karim a little bit wide, and I think that just opened up the door on the inside. But it's a tough call.
It is a tough call, and we've got to make it soon.
Yeah. If someone in the chat saw it, and were you looking at the battle?
I was. I think it was just about allowable, as Moraine starts to pull away now. It was very borderline. So yeah, Moraine, I'm gonna give him a message now to say, calm down with your overtakes. We do run a new race control system in Gprl. There was a bit of a, let's say, controversy about it initially, but we got it sorted out. And ended up just doing a PSN messages sort of thing as Esteban.
I just realised Esteban's flying. He's already
Esteban is flying.
Yannick.
He has closed right up to Yannick. We have a message in the group chat, possibly about the incident.
I just looked in the group chat about regarding Kevin and something about I think it was Ugaitz he got tangled up with. I think Ugaitz just wasn't looking and just turned into Kevin.
Oh, right. We've got a little contribution from Jackie. I think that's his name. He says no, he doesn't believe a place should be given back. We do agree with you there, mate. And yeah, Moraine will stay ahead. But yeah, I was gonna do something. Yeah, so Kevin complaining about that. And yeah, we will go and speak to Moraine right now. But what do you make of this real turn in pace from Esteban as we're watching him close down on Yannick?
I think it's as it's equal cars. I think it could just be down to he much prefers China to some of the other tracks on the calendar. It's obviously though for the drivers, there'll be tracks they love and there'll be tracks that they aren't a fan of. So I think it's just down to preference. I think Esteban loves racing around the stratas. I think he might try and go around the outside.
That's going to be quite a move if he can. He's had a look. This will be quite incredible from Esteban. I don't think he'll be able to do it as Yannick cuts him off, but no. He's having a good race.
I think he went around the outside, but he went too far off the track. He should have been, if he was a little bit closer, I think he would have got the position, but he went too far wide. Oh, a little tap on Yannick there. Nothing major there, but no damage, so that's good.
It's good for Esteban. He's not the cleanest driver in Gprl history, but he has shown moments of pace, and I think that this is definitely one of those moments. He's looking very punchy, and he's on for a podium today. Dare I say? I wouldn't say he's on to challenge Felix. Felix is in a league of his own, as Yannick a little bit wide. And it looks like Yannick's going to actually pick up his first podium in a while, if things continue to go his way, which they definitely haven't been recently. But one thing that I have noticed is, I think you picked up on this earlier, Ryan, is Esteban's line through the final corner is not the greatest. I feel as if that's where he's getting a good run.
I think you might go around the outside here.
He's going to have a look on those 2-lap fresher tyres. is side by side. Yannick giving him a bit of a push, and they're still side by side into the final corner. Esteban edges ahead down the inside. Goes Esteban. He's got the position, but Yannick has a better run. He also has DRS. He's going to look round the outside of turn number 1. I thought Esteban had some front wing damage for a moment, and he doesn't. But Yannick back ahead, so good move from Yannick. Nice little battle between these two. And yeah, Harrison in the pits now for his second stop of the day. That promotes Moraine to P4, Yano to P5, Karim to P6, and yeah, this has been a standout battle of the race so far.
It has, yeah. It's been a very close battle all race, and also it's a Gprl veteran against rookie. So
it is Yannick, one of the first drivers to come into the league. He is very highly rated. He's a fellow steward admin. So yeah, I was racing with Yannick last night, and he said that yeah, he is definitely improving, and he hopes he can go one step better on the new game. So that he said something along the lines of that. But yeah, Yannick, he's definitely, as Esteban gets a couple of seconds time penalty. Yannick, he has his moments where he's fast and when he's not as fast. But it would be great to see him back up on the podium today for the Sauber boys. Obviously, look back to last race, Sauber claimed their first win since season 2 in a while. And yeah, looks like things are maybe finally starting to turn good for Sauber at the end of season 4. We're not quite at the end of the season yet, Ryan, but let's have a little reminisce about the season. It's been a good season, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think, well, from what I've experienced in Gprl, I think it's been one of, if not the best season so far, because there's been from action on track to controversy to, because we've had
Esteban's made a move.
Oh, I think he's given the position back though.
Yeah, okay, fair play to Esteban there to give the move back. That did look quite aggressive and saving us a job as Yannick goes a little bit wide. We will come back to you in just a moment, Ryan. So yeah, what were you saying?
I was just saying how this season has had everything that you could want in a regular Formula 1 season, like unexpected winners, unexpected podiums. I think this season has had everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like Esteban's gone really slow.
I think he made a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a connection problem as that happens. So.
Yes, I'm getting the same thing. So these two struggling, it looks like, in terms of their connection. It's not just me. But yeah, it definitely has been a good season. You know, we've had unexpected winners, unexpected winners. I think we all know where we're going with this. Damien?
Yeah.
Yeah? That came from out of nowhere. I think when Mercedes rocked up in Silverstone for the season opener and scored a 1-2 in quali, that was quite out of nowhere. Because we were like, oh, Red Bull. Coming into the season, Red Bull, you know, they had it all. They had the current champion. They had Felix, who'd come into the league mid-season and won 2 or 3 races. And Mercedes come on and stack it on the front row. It was quite like, it was a Susan Boyle moment, as Britain's Got Talent fans would describe it as. People who don't watch Britain's Got Talent now think I'm stupid, but stay with me. It's an analogy from saying it's a way of saying it was out of nowhere. I don't know what I'm saying. It's very hot. I am boiling in this conservatory. But back to the race. Esteban, it's kind of like the real life Chinese Grand Prix. There's sort of one track battle going on, as Esteban makes a bit of a mistake there. I'm not going to compare it to the real life Chinese Grand Prix because that was a real life let's go in a circle for 56 laps. But don't beat me up at F1. I did say last time that if our race is better than the real life Grand Prix, we're better than F1. So I think we're on path to be better than F1, guys. So keep going. Let's go. Ryan, anything to
add? No, I've got nothing to add at the moment. It looks like, yeah, I want to say that Yannick is struggling because he's not exactly pulling away from Esteban.
Yep.
And Esteban's still in DRS range, so I think Esteban could be really close going into turn 1 here, so I think Yannick, maybe not a fan of the mediums. Well, they are 2 laps older, so that could come into effect.
Yeah, it could. Meanwhile, looking a little bit further back, Moraine not really being able to close up on the guys ahead, so unless, I'm not going to jinx it, unless some shenanigans happen between the two of them. Esteban very late on the brakes there, getting it slowed down, so yeah, fair play to Esteban being able to do that.
Oh, as he might try and go around.
He's going to look around the outside.
Yannick. Oh, no.
Very nearly. Yeah, you can't. He might have a little look again. Esteban looking incredibly punchy from out of nowhere. As we've mentioned it before, he's looking very close, getting a little bit distracted having the Sauber right in front of him, but Yannick knows what he's doing, as you mentioned earlier, Ryan. A Gprl veteran is Yannick. Almost had a little Max Verstappen moment there.
It's safe to say if these two were on the same team, Esteban would have been passed about a lap ago. Because team orders,
maybe
Esteban
even more a lap
definitely
ago.
gone past by now.
Maybe even more than a lap ago.
Yeah. As soon as he started catching up, I think that should have been the point, because I think Esteban might try and go in down
Esteban's going to try down the inside. He gets it stopped nicely. And I think that's the move. It doesn't look very good move from Esteban.
No switchback, so
covered the switchback off quite nicely. And it looks like Yannick's just really struggling. He does have DRS though, but I don't think it'll pull him close enough come the end of the straight. No, it won't. And unless he's going to try, he does stick a nose up the inside, but it's not enough. So Esteban up into P2.
I think he'll keep the position here because Esteban should be able to pull away now, because obviously Esteban has been quite strong in the first 2 sectors. So I think this is where Esteban can get out of DRS range and try and catch up a little bit towards Felix, but he's not going to catch up at this rate, I don't think.
Esteban does have penalties.
Speaking of Felix, Felix is still in the race, by the way.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped out. Yeah, clearly his custom helmet. Go on.
Yeah, back to the other race that's going on track.
Yeah. Clearly the custom helmets are doing something for Felix, because he's dominated this one. He didn't dominate Hungary, but when was the last race he won? It feels as if it was recent.
It was. I think it was either last week or the week before.
Last week was Hungary, and Jarno won that.
Yeah, so I think it was the week before.
But that was Austria, and then Damien won that. It feels as if Felix won recently.
Oh. I want to say it must have been the one before that then. And we'll keep going until we get the right answer.
Yeah, it was season 1. Nah, I'm joking, Felix. That's not a shot at you. But yeah, Esteban has got out of DRS range. So good job to him. Something further back, I've been watching Jarno's lap times. He's been closing up on you guys. Jarno obviously having to make the extra stop due to contact. He went off on his own accord, we believe. And he's about to make a move for P7. He's looking very strong. You guys are not looking strong. One thing to note, leaders, well, Felix and then the rest of the pack are on their 21st lap. So once they complete this lap, as Jarno goes down the inside, gets it all locked up, and you guys gets a switch back. But yeah, once they complete this 21st lap, they will be into the safe range. So they will be confirmed on scoring points, and Jarno not being able to get past on 2-lap-old softs compared to 18-lap-old mediums on you guys. This car, you guys goes very wide there, and yeah, opens the door. Jarno says thank you very much. Up into P7, he's going to now set about chasing Harrison, who has been slowly closing up to Karim. So we might have a interesting 3-way battle here come the end of the race. Jarno plays look decent in the early stages on the mediums, and he's closed up quite a big gap in not a load of time to you guys. So it'll be interesting to see if he can close up to Harrison. He started on the front row. He's now in P6, not Harrison's best race, but nevertheless picking up points for Force India, doing his job as a reserve very well. I think himself and Hugo have really been standout reserves this season.
Yeah, they've definitely been top 2. I believe they're the 2 that's attended the most races as well.
Yes, yeah. The other 2 being Enrico and Duco, or Duco, I don't really know how you pronounce his name. But yeah, Harrison is closing on Karim, who very much isn't a reserve and has been flagged up by drivers as the most consistent, the cleanest. Has come up a few times, drivers in the league, and yeah, he's on his way for a good position. He's halved his position at the minute, starting P10. It'd be interesting to see if Harrison has anything to say about that, as yeah, everyone from you guys and up now is in the safe range, so they can all score points. The current fastest lap of the Grand Prix, I just need to check that real quick.
It is Yarno.
It is Yarno.
34.1.
So we're relatively fast for race pace.
Harrison's is Harrison the closest? No, Felix is the closest to.
Yep, 34.5.
Wait, no, it's Moraine.
Oh yeah, it is.
Marine's got a 5.62.
Just, yeah.
Felix got a 5.99. So Marine's second for fastest lap. So it would still be good if he could just eke out a few tenths, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen going by tyre difference.
Yeah, and yeah, that's about all I can say. In terms of, let me just check the gap. Yeah, in terms of gaps, Yano isn't really closing down on Harrison, so it's been a bit of a miserable race for the Sauber driver. In terms of the other Sauber driver, Yannick, it's not been incredible, but I don't think he'll complain with the first podium in a while if he can keep it. Moraine is closing up on him, but not. There's about 4 seconds. Again, that might come interesting come the end of the race. 4.8 seconds between Harrison and Karim in the battle for P5. Harrison critical on fuel, you can see in the bottom right corner, also quite critical on ERS. Karim looking quite comfortable in terms of those departments currently. So yeah, I think we do have a bit of a slow burner of a race here. Should see some interesting action come the end of the race, and if things stay as they are, Moraine won't be able to clinch the Constructors, Red Bull have already clinched the Constructors, Moraine won't be able to clinch the Drivers' Championship today, as he needs to outscore Felix by 15 points. And if things stay as they are, Felix is going to be outscoring Moraine by another 6 points, I think it is.
Yeah, because Moraine will get 14, because it's 14, 16, 18, 20, so yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it not 20?
Or it might be. I need to check that real quick.
I'm going to quickly have a look, because I've got it written down.
Yeah, same.
So, Marine's P4, so he'll get 12 points actually, so it's an 8-point gap.
Alright, so Felix will close up 8 points if things stay as they are, 8 crucial points in terms of the championship, because yeah, the gap after this race will be 41 points with 62 points up for grabs. So, you know, I said earlier it's not possible. I think, you know, a minor miracle would have to happen, but I think it will be incredible.
I think if Felix does manage to pull it off, I think that would make him the best driver of the season. To make a comeback like that in the last few races would be historical. Like it would go down in the books.
Yeah, it would be quite historical as you described it. Yana with 3 second time penalties pushing on, trying to get Harrison, but Harrison is very much pushing on and closing up on the Mercedes of Karim. Karim previously raced in the Mercedes, I want to say in season 3, I think he did. Did he? I'm sure he did at one point. Anyway, less about that. Yeah, do you think Harrison can do this, Ryan?
I think it's possible, but I think that the softs might wear out by the time you get to the end. So I think he's got to push now while he can, so that when the tyres do start to wear off a little bit, he can start to defend.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ryan, as Harrison goes quite off track. But yeah, that gap is coming down. Another gap that's coming down is Moraine and Yannick. And Yannick, I believe, is closed up a bit to Esteban. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but that
it looks like Esteban's still pulling away.
I just thought the gap was a little bit more.
Esteban is now. Like that overtake definitely did. Yannick was definitely. It looked like he was holding up Esteban quite a lot there, going by how much the gap's extended by.
So Esteban has got a 6 seconds worth of penalties. 3 seconds.
Incidents. It's
3
good that he's got a
seconds.
different flag, so it's really easy to tell which one's
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, Esteban has got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so he's got to, should he want to keep this place, he's got some time to find. As Yannick is actually, the time is sort of staying, the gap between them is sort of staying where it is. It's not really going up, it sort of goes up a bit and goes down a little bit more, so things staying as they are.
You guys speeding in the pit lane. I think he might be retiring from the race.
I think he's going to go. Yeah, I think he's going to go on a little glory run at the end to get a couple of extra points for himself and the Toro Rosso team. His Toro Rosso teammate currently up in P2, having the best race in recent while, with about a 3-second gap back. How many penalties does everyone else have? Yannick with just 1 warning, and Moraine
Felix has got
with no
nothing.
warnings.
Felix has probably been the cleanest driver on the grid at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
As well as Harrison, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, Esteban does need to push on, should he want to keep this position. Because at the minute,
the gap is like about 3 seconds, so he has gained a lot of time, but he's got to double that in the last 3 laps. So I think it could be possible, but it's going to take quite a lot. It's going to be quite an ask from Esteban.
Yeah, on that lap, Yannick gained about 1/10 of a second, so yeah, Esteban needs to push on. Maybe his tyre's overheating at this point, as there's literal sweat dripping off my forehead. It's very warm, okay? Us Brits, we complain until it is warm, and then we complain because it's too warm, so we can never be satisfied. And I'm dying trying to provide you with entertainment on a Friday night. And I'm asthmatic, so, you know. Anyway, Harrison closing up to Karim. You said earlier, Ryan, that his tyres may go off in the end phase of the race.
I could be proven wrong here if Harrison does make it past Karim. Which
You could be.
He's gaining a lot of time on Karim. Karim went really wide there, so he's actually gained a lot of time in just a few corners. So yeah, if he gets into DRS range, which if he picks out his braking point right, he should be within a second.
Yeah, apologies. Sorry,
here.
apologies for that stream. My computer, my controller. I'm all over the place today. Oh, Harrison is very wide. Yeah, my controller went out of battery, so had to do a little switcheroo real quick.
I'm just looking at Harrison's telemetry, and the fuel icon's flashing yellow, so I think Harrison might actually be negative on fuel. So
it's gone back under now.
That could be very.
So I think he's borderline actually, because it's gone back under. Got a lot of oversteer. Yeah, it is flashing, so I think it is borderline. I think Harrison's rear tyres are going off because he looks to get a lot of oversteer coming out of corners. So I think he might have quite a challenge trying to pass the Mercedes of Karim. Meanwhile, Ugaitz is on a push lap after he's come out the pits. Be interesting to see if he can get the first lap of the Grand Prix. The target is a 1:34.1. Did you say? I think it was
34. Yeah, I think it was a 34.1 or something like that. Harrison's
34.1.
Closing up
he is close.
a lot now.
There's a little look down the inside. Nothing comes of it though.
Karim not using any ERS though. Although the ERS gauges are pretty similar, Harrison is using his ERS, so that could be a little factor. And also, it does look like Karim is struggling.
Yeah,
you
guys does get.
I think that's like a second quicker than
it
Garno's,
was, yeah, a second quicker. So I think that's going to be the fast lap for you guys. Oh, down the inside goes Harrison.
Diving.
Yeah, that's
that's
impressive
a fair move. Yeah,
more than fair.
There's a little bit of contact. Karim
no, there wasn't. No
contact, but yeah, it's not contact that's noteworthy.
I didn't see any contact. Maybe a bit wheel to wheel contact as they were turning into the corner.
I think it was just. Yeah, I think it was just wheel to wheel. Karim's going to fight
back
though, but I don't think. Will Karim get it slowed down?
Harrison's going to fight back, and down the inside they go. There's a bit more contact there. I think Karim squeezed himself there more than anyone, and Karim can't get a line down the inside. So that's Harrison up into P.
I think Karim's retiring.
I did see the pause menu.
He's not using DRS.
Yeah, he is
because
now.
he did. his steering did just snap, kind of
Yeah.
like when you pause and it goes onto the racing line. So I'm not sure. I don't know if he just paused so that he would make sure that there was no contact between him and Harrison. But Harrison's red on fuel now. It's flashing red. So are we
Anyway,
going to get our first driver to run out of fuel before the line?
let's talk about Felix. He's blitzed. He's blitzed everyone today as he rounds the hairpin. He's about, you know, he's leaps and bounds ahead of the competition. So he's going to round the final corner, and he's going to win the Chinese Grand Prix. Great job there from Felix and from the Red Bull crew. It's another win for Felix, and that's going to look quite healthy on his CV and
Moraine
close
might
the
get on
gap.
the podium here.
I think
If
Moraine
Esteban's
may,
got
yeah.
6 seconds worth of penalties, Moraine will get third, and Yannick will
Esteban
get second.
provisionally getting on the podium. Good job from Esteban. That's going to promote Yannick to P2. It's also going to promote Moraine to P3. Yes, it will. So Esteban missing out on podium again due to penalties. Further back, Harrison stays ahead of Karim. So good job from Harrison to recover, despite the opening shenanigans, let's say, and scoring valuable points for the Force India team, who are currently plumb last in the constructor standing. Harrison's quite happy with that, doing a little weave. I think Karim can be quite proud of his achievement, up from P10 on the grid. Yana, P7, not an incredible race, but I believe he started around there anyway.
Will
And,
you guys improve on his time?
He is on a push lap. It's
Yeah.
a 33-1 to beat. So we
he'll
will
do
see.
it.
You think he will? I haven't been watching his lap.
I haven't either. This is but I just started watching him just as Yarn across the line.
Through the final corner. Back on the power. Is it a fastest lap? No. Oh, I think it was.
I think it was.
I think it was. Yes.
I think I did see something show up in the bottom left. So I think it was like maybe like a 32.8. So that's
We'll find out. But nevertheless, fastest lap for you guys. He's going to pick up points and extra points. It's a double Red Bull podium. Again, we've seen that just a few times this season. And Felix on the top step, proving a point to his Red Bull teammate. Proving a point because when Moraine slipped up, I said the same thing in Monza. Well, as Moraine slipped up, Felix very much didn't. And if it does end up with Felix winning the title, you look back to places like Monza where Moraine crashed out and think that, you know, that is where he lost points that he shouldn't have. But it's still looking good for Moraine in the driver's standings, and we can confirm. You guys did, I believe he did improve by about 2 thousandths.
But like a few. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did improve by 2 thousandths. So quick little race rundown for us, please, Ryan.
Another dominant win for Felix, who, well, just looking at the time, almost exactly 45 minutes, which is roughly the time it takes to do 50%. So
Yeah.
another should be an award for that. Yannick in P2, it was a very good result from him, obviously getting bumped up to P2 after Esteban losing it on the podium once again due to penalties. Moraine had a good comeback drive considering he had the drive-through penalty. Esteban, of course, unfortunate, but he was very rapid and he could have kept P2 with the pace that he had.
Yeah, showing some pace.
Harrison having a really good result considering he was on the front row but he got dropped to the back, so it was a good comeback drive from him. What else?
Karim?
But it was, yeah, Karim, of course, in P6. I think it was.
Yes, it was, indeed. And then I think that's it. And then there's Jana. Bit of a disappointing race after the collision. And then there's you guys clearing up the back of the pack. So, Ryan, unless there's anything else you want to add for today?
No, I've got nothing. Well, as usual, good race, better than F1 now. So.
Yep, of course. Next race, if you join us next time, you will find us in France. In Paul Ricard, as it makes its return for a second consecutive season in Gprl. If we look back to last race, it was Jarno who was on pole, and he spun on the first lap, leading through the fast corner, fast right-hander. and I believe that was the final straw for him and the controller. But yeah, back to France. It was a good race last time actually, and I think it will be good also next week. So do please join us at about 5:10 GMT. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you, Ryan, as always, for joining me. And I'm gonna go have a very cold shower now because I'm roasting. See you in a bit, guys.